I'm going to show you guys a completely broken exploit in Hogwarts Legacy to where you can get legendary gear whenever you want, however you want, and it'll be to your level and everything. And there's tons of like secret legendary gear that you would never have even gotten if you didn't know about this exploit. So it's actually crazy, guys. So first I'm going to show you the exploit, and then be sure to stick around for the second part of the video where I'm going to show you a strategy you can use to abuse this exploit to make sure that you always have gear at your level whenever you want, basically. So every now and then you gain a few levels, and then you just get a brand new set of full legendary gear that's better than your previous set. You can just keep doing that over and over and over again as you play your game, and every time be like generating new legendaries you've maybe even never seen before. So if you want to get legendary items, no matter what, early game, mid game, late game, you can literally find legendary items all throughout the game pretty much whenever you want. So all you got to do in order to find a legendary item is to find a chest like this chest, and see how I got normal gear, right? And this is pretty normal. So ideally you find a place with multiple chests like this. This one's got 2 chests in it, so I'll run over and I'll grab this one too. So this one also didn't have a legendary. So what you want to do is, before you actually open those chests, you want to save your game. But then what you do is, if you don't get a legendary item, you'll just load your game back. So you see now I'm loading my game back to right before I open those chests. Now, depending on where the chests are, you may have to, backtrack a little bit to get to them again. So like in this particular cave, I have to really quick go through this little hallway and then get back to the chests. But once you do that, then you can go ahead and grab the chest again and again and again and again and again until you get a legendary item. So this time it was green instead of blue. This one was, I don't remember what it was last time, but it's blue again. And then we go over here and we go to this third one and we check out what's inside of it. And the thing that's really interesting about the chests in Hogwarts Legacy is that the loot is generated either when you, I'm not sure which one. It's either when you pick up the chest, like when you open the chest, or it gets generated when you load your game. Like I'm not exactly sure at what point in the game it determines what's inside of the chest, but it's one or the other. It's either when a game gets loaded, it regenerates what's in the chest, or it's when you actually pick up the chest. It's just literally an RNG loot table type of system. So whenever you find a chest anywhere in the game that has a reasonable setup, then you want to just go ahead and do this till you get a legendary item and find out what legendary items you can farm out of it. Some chests might not be reasonable. Some chests might be at like the end of a cave and it'll take like 5 minutes to backtrack to it. But some chests you can probably save right in front of them and load and be right in front of them again, and just keep on doing this, doing it really, really fast. You see I got a purple now, so but that's still not good enough. I'm gonna keep doing it until I get a legendary on these chests. What's really cool about this is that you could actually get a full set of legendary gear like before you even hit level 10. And what's also really exciting about this is farming legendary gear once you get more towards the end game, because it's just going to be more and more interesting what type of gear you find when you get higher level. All right, I'm going to speed this part up real fast so you can see how long it takes in order to get this. It should just take hopefully a few more rolls, and then I'll get a legendary piece of gear. All right, so that took about 8 minutes, and here we go. I got a legendary robe. So that is how that works. But wait, there's a lot more. I found out another way you can abuse this that's like 10 times crazier than this and makes it even faster. Check this out. So shortly after doing this, I realized something interesting. So I was like, I'm going to try these on some other chests in this game and try it on other items and stuff. And this works on some and not on others. But one thing that was really crazy is there are these really small chests that you'll find in random places, like all over the place, in Hogsmeade and wherever. Like, then they usually just have a little bit of gold in them, these little chests. And you'll get like 30 gold or something like that most of the time. Turns out that in the loot table for these things, they can also drop legendary gear. So there was this small one right here, and I just kept on farming it and kept on farming it, and realized it can actually drop stuff other than gold. It can drop whatever potion, and then you keep going, and occasionally you will get gear. So I kept on farming this one over and over and over again until eventually I was able to find a purple piece of gear. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. So because of that, I checked out this purple piece, and it was like, okay, we've got a purple piece from one of these small chests. That's pretty crazy. So I was like, surely we can get a legendary piece. So I decided to keep on farming this. So I kept on saving and loading anyway, and kept on doing it over and over and over and over again. And eventually I got another purple piece of gear from this. But then I just kept on going, and yes, eventually it finally happened, guys. After enough cycles of farming this chest, I was able to get a legendary piece of gear from this small little 30 gold chest. So yes, you can in fact get legendary gear from smaller, ridiculous chests like these ones. And what that means is something crazy, guys. The implications of that is actually insane. So what that effectively means is that you can get legendary gear for your level, a full set basically, whenever you want, if you're patient enough for it. This one did not take long at all. I think it only took me like 5 or 6 minutes to get a legendary piece from one of these small little dinky chests. So if you find it next to a big chest where you can save load right next to you, it'll probably get even faster because the loot table is going to be better. But still, 5 minutes for a legendary piece of gear from one of these little tiny chests is actually crazy. So what you can do, here's like the final step to this exploit. There's something crazy you need to know about with this gear. Whenever you loot gear from a chest like this, or any chest, it always drops at the level you are currently at. And because of that, there's something really insane that you can do. You can, at a place like Hogsmeade or wherever, you go to a new town where you haven't explored yet, and you find all the chests, but don't open any of them. Then what you do is you go and play the game, and you level up and stuff, and once you've got leveled up some more, say you were level 20 and now you're level 30 or something like that, you've made a big level gain. You come back to the town that had all the unopened chests, and you one by one save and load at each chest until you roll a legendary piece of gear for every single slot. And then it'll all be level 30 now because you're level 30. So you can effectively get a full set of legendary gear for any level that you're at from anywhere. You can get a full set of level 30 gear, 30 legendary gear from Hogsmeade if you do this. That's how crazy this is. So this takes planning. What you're going to have to do is ahead of time, make sure you have some chests like in a village or something that you never opened. Make sure to just ignore them and remember what village it was, and then go play your game. And whenever you feel like you need a gear upgrade, just go back to that village and start saving and loading on chests until you get the legendary gear that you need to get you up to wherever you want to be stat-wise for that level. Now, I did try this on some other objects, and you'd be surprised. Some of them did not work. There was, like, if you find one of the little bags on the ground, those ones seem to actually have a static drop. Like, I found this little bag, and it was 15 gold every time. I saved and loaded 10 times or something, and it was 15 gold every time. But there's other things, like in this clothing store, there is like a duffel bag, basically, and it's actually a similar, if not exactly same loot table as those little dinky small chests that you find all over the place. So there's a lot of different loot table objects that you can abuse in order to get the legendary gear. It's not just those little dinky chests, it's even things like this duffel bag and stuff like that. So if you combine all those different tricks and stuff in order to optimize your legendary gear, not only can you roll any cosmetic like type of item, but you can also roll as a legendary. For those of you who are really patient, you can eventually just roll and roll and roll until you get the exact piece of gear you want as a legendary and stuff, and you can just do crazy stuff if you're really patient. But even if you're not patient, it doesn't take long to get a full set of legendary at your level if you have some chests like this that you can roll until you get them. It's like 5 minutes per legendary or something like that. It's actually a totally busted way to get legendary items in this game for whatever level you're currently at. Also, if you like this video, if this video helped you out and you want to return the favor to me for making it, you can check out this game that I'm making on Steam called Art Gallery Simulator. You can go and wishlist it, which will tell you when it comes out. Or if you're watching this like a year from now or something, you could potentially buy it if you really think the game looks like something you'd want. But I'll link this in the description of this video below the first paragraph. It's just a game where you get to run an art gallery, you get to upgrade your shop and add art and things, add stands and different things, and eventually you go from slums to middle class to owning an art museum where eventually you'll have like admissions and things like that. That's the goal. It'll be released hopefully in March or April. All right, guys, that's it. That's everything you need to know about this. That's how to prep for the future and get a full set of legendary gear at any level that you end up at. So you could be level 40 and just come back to Hogsmeade and get a full set of legendary gear if you plan ahead. So hopefully you watch this early enough in your playthrough. You can plan ahead now and save some chests so that way you can get whatever legendary gear you want at whatever level you want in Hogwarts Legacy.